Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're dialing in from. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share if you find this content helpful. Today, we're going to talk about the 9th commandment, and we're looking at the 9th commandment as presented in the book of the law. This is the book of the law, and like we do always, I'll give you some background on this book of the law. First of all, these commandments were given by the voice of the Most High in Mount Sinai to Moses and to all of Israel, or Isolile, our ancestors. Though Moses and the elders of Isolile were the only ones who went into the mountain, and Moses alone is the one who received the tablets of the law, all of Isolile had the voice of the Most High when he gave the commandments. Secondly, the commandments were written on 2 tablets of stone by the finger of the Most High. Moses broke these tablets. We know that story. But after that, he prepared another set on which the Most High again wrote the same words. And then those tablets were placed in the Ark of the Covenant, and which was kept in the tabernacle, which was in the temple until the Babylonian captivity. So this 9th commandment is about bearing false witness or lying. Let's listen to it.
Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not speak falsely before the king, nor before the judge, nor in the assembly of the princes, nor in the presence of the ruler, nor unto the minister of the law, nor among the multitude, nor in the ear of thy friend, nor to thy wife, nor thy child, nor thy servant. Neither shalt thou withhold the truth from the king, nor the judge, nor him that is set in authority. For thus shall righteousness be established in all thy borders.
For thus shall righteousness be established in all your borders. That is how righteousness will be established in all your borders when we do not bear false witness. Okay, let's jump right into it and see more about this commandment. Let's dissect it as we normally do. Thou shalt not bear false witness or lie. 17 times, it's talking about you. You shall not bear false witness. You shall not speak falsely before. Now it's telling us where you shall not bear false witness. So before the king, before the judge, in the assembly of the princes, in the presence of the ruler, unto the minister of law, among the multitude, in the ear of your friend, or your wife, your child, your servant, so with authorities or at home in the community. Neither shall you withhold the truth. It's not just about lying. It's about not speaking the whole truth. So it tells us you shall not withhold the truth from the king or the judge or anyone that is set in authority. For thus shall righteousness be established in all your borders, you as Isolile, you as Israel. So it's talking about you and where you shall not lie. Before all these people, you shall not lie. Why? Because if we live righteously and we tell the truth, all the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, righteousness, right living with the Most High will set the social and legal and moral order in our society, in our country, in the promised land where they were going. 17 times it's talking about you. 15 times we are told what to do, the do's and don'ts. Okay? You shall not. This word shall is actually trending in Kenya right now because the constitution says the people there shall either exercise their power directly by electing officials, or they may, which is optional, choose to exercise it themselves directly. So right now they're exercising it directly, and that word means mandatory, shall not. So we're told 15 times, you shall not speak falsely before these people. You shall not speak falsely or lie before the king, before the assembly, before all those guys that I talked about. It is important. That is why he repeats it 15 times. Who are we lying to, or who are we being told not to lie to? 16 times we are told not to lie. First time, it says there, don't bear false witness. Don't say that the lies, don't speak falsely before the king, before the judge, before the princes, before the rulers, before the minister of the law, among the multitude, and that's in the community, or in the ear of your friend. Don't gossip and tell lies. Don't speak what you think is secret and you're saying lies. No, don't do it. Don't lie to your wife. Don't lie to your kids. Don't lie to your workers. Neither should you withhold the truth. This one is something that I can give 1,000,001 examples about. People withholding the truth, and then they say they didn't lie because they were never asked about that. So they responded about subject A. They didn't tell about subject B and C. And therefore they say they did not lie. Now you can see why we were not given this information. But anyway, we'll come to that. Anybody set in authority, do not lie to them. Why? Because they're going to make decisions that will impact the whole society, our society. And we don't want them to make decisions based on half of the information. So do not lie or do not withhold the truth. Look, it's about our borders, our nation as Isolele. If everybody does this right, we know we're going to be living in right standing within our borders. Those outside our borders will realize there's something different about us, and they will want to worship and serve the Most High that we serve. There are 3 words that I wanted to look at a bit more in depth today, and that is the word king, prince, and ruler. What is the difference? So when we look at the word king in the scriptures, it's melech, and just refers to a king. What I'd like you to remember here is that a king has a kingdom, okay? And a king is not a president. When you go to the root word here, you get this word malak, okay? In Swahili, the word mamlaka is authority, but it's authority that is authority given to the person who is in the kingship or queenship, who's reigning as the monarch. So that's mamlaka or malak. Malak is the authority to be or become king. So just remember that a king has a kingdom, as opposed to a president who may have a country or a prime minister who is just running the affairs of the country. What about a prince? It says one lifted up, or a chief or prince or captain or a leader. And here it goes on to explain the root word, which is bearing the meaning of to lift, to bear up, to carry, to take. So I'll give you an example of like the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They have a king, and then a lot of the sons are princes. And as princes, they are answerable to their father, the king, okay? A prince is typically a child, biological child of the king and queen. Think about the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, you have King Charles and you have their sons, William and Harry, and they're called princes. That's how they're referred to. So in the scriptures, when you see the word prince, it's normally referring to somebody who was a child of the king. And I'm making that distinction of the biological connection or the relationship, because if you don't make that distinction, you can confuse a prince with a ruler. Because I could be ruling a certain territory, like in the Middle East, or the so-called Middle East today, those Arab nations, a lot of them have a king, and then you have their princes who are either the equivalent of a cabinet minister or cabinet secretary, or they are in charge of certain territories. So the equivalent of what you'd call a governor in the United States. A governor is in charge of a certain state or a province. So in that case, somebody could also see the governor as a ruler. But they may not be necessarily. The governor here, for example, in Texas, is not the son of the president, so we don't call him prince, but he's a ruler. Okay, so ruler is somebody who has dominion, and usually have dominion over a certain territory, but you're not necessarily, you don't have to be related to the king or to the person who's in charge. So a governor is just a ruler. In the case of the US. In different countries, you might have provinces or any other territories. So when you think of this, think of the fact that the children of Israel had left Egypt. 3 months later, they're at Mount Sinai, and they're being told that you will have this structure in your government. You'll have a king, you'll have a judge, you'll have princes, you'll have rulers. Okay, and don't lie to any of these people. So what do we have today? Today, we have a mixture, we have hybrids of these systems of governance. In some countries, you have a president and you also have a prime minister. In some countries, like the United Kingdom, you have a prime minister, but the head of state is a king. So the prime minister is really just a ruler, an administrative ruler. Okay, now let's take a look at what the scriptures show about this commandment, the 9th commandment. So here we have it, just like we normally look at it. Oops, I forgot to highlight this one here. Okay, so in Deuteronomy chapter 5, between verse 1 and verse 21, you have the 10 commandments. And here in verse 20, that I forgot to highlight, is where it says, neither shall you bear false witness against your neighbor. Okay? That's it. That's all they give us. But in the book of the law, we have 59 words. And here, all 59 words are there, not just these few words that they have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they gave us 9 words, and they hid the other 50. They withheld the whole truth. They violated this very commandment. So why? Your guess is as good as mine. Your reason is probably better than mine. But I think this was a deliberate move by whoever was putting together the commandments in the scriptures, that they didn't want to give us the entire book of the law, because we would have read it in this context and realized there's more going on here, and there's no justification to withhold information, which is something that we see going on a lot today in our different environments. Okay, what about the book of Exodus? In Exodus 20, verse 1 to 17, you have the commandments. And here in verse 16 is where you find, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in Deuteronomy and in Exodus, they have thy neighbor. In this commandment, in the book of the law, the word neighbor does not even appear. Okay, so they took a summary of all the people we are told not to lie to, and they decided to just give us one, and they called it thy neighbor. Yet we have thy friend, your wife, your child, your servant, the king, the judge, anybody in authority. I don't think of those people in authority as my neighbor. Why did they not give us the full truth? So in essence, we have just a few words instead of all 59 words that are in the actual book of the law. Oops. Kennedy, please go ahead and mute. Thank you. All right. And then let's listen to this commandment one more time.
Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not speak falsely before the king, nor before the judge, nor in the assembly of the princes, nor in the presence of the ruler, nor unto the minister of the law, nor among the multitude, nor in the ear of thy friend, nor to thy wife, nor thy child, nor thy servant. Neither shalt thou withhold the truth from the king, nor the judge, nor him that is set in authority. For thus shall righteousness be established in all thy borders.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share if you find this content helpful.